Move on to our second reader now. Now we have a poet. Let me get it here. I have my guide here. So we have Gillian Lynn Katz. Gillian is here close to me in New York, in the New York area. She's a writer and a poet, and she just published a new book. It's called Portrait, and I think she's going to read just from this book. Gillian grew up in South Africa, and she grew up during the apartheid era in South Africa, and her views of this extremely unequal society, her own experience as part of it, is a strong element in her writing. And Gillian, it's her second time here in the Salon. Gillian also, she lives in New York. As I said, she studied at the Writing Institute at Sarah Lawrence College. And so I will leave the rest to you. Gillian, thank you so much for being here. Where is Gillian? Okay, there she is. Okay. And you can, if you want to introduce a little bit, or if you want to read straight away, it's up to you. And I'll keep remembering people, please, to mute yourselves while she's reading. Okay.
I'm going to lengthen the screen so I can see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you were here.
There.
Okay. Okay, we can see you. We can see you.
This is my book, Portrait. It was published just before the coronavirus hit, and I was lucky to get it out at that time. And this picture is me of about 18 months old. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Scarsdale, because we're at the Scarsdale Salon, and I wrote this poem a long time ago, but it's included in my book. Scarsdale. A golden girl, I picked lavender jacaranda blossoms that tumbled onto Johannesburg grasses. As a pink-collared working woman, I watched white dogwood flowers cover the Tarrytown trees in masses. Now, as flame-colored azaleas burst forth every Scarsdale spring, I still feel the thunderclap, the cloudburst that blew a flower petal across 2 continents. 2 years ago, I visited my home country of South Africa. These next 2 poems were inspired by my visit to Nelson Mandela's prison cell. Inside Mandela's former penitentiary, a single oleander inside gray stone prison walls, a flash of pink blooms in clusters, deep green, leathery, lance-shaped leaves arranged along the stems in whorls. I wonder, did you witness the ache of this poisonous plant when you were ordered not to sing as you cut the snow-white rocks in the lime quarry? My next poem is called Robben Island, and that's where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned, on Robben Island. Robben Island. Nelson, I walked where you walked for 3 hours inside gray cement walls where you chopped snow-white quarry stones in the heat, Mandela, on the windy prison island surrounded by the sea. Swaths of black kelp meandered in the ocean, floating free, like you wouldn't be, Nelson. I stood outside your cell, Mandela, 4 square meter circumference, where you spent 18 of your 27-year sentence. You slept on a straw pallet on the stone floor, brown blankets, small green table, red bucket with a lid. Your walls and door were steel see-through bars. More prince than prisoner, dressed neatly in prison clothes, leaning on a spade. You sealed your scrolls, buried them in tin cans in a small garden with only an aloe bush surrounded by gray cement walls. And my next poem is a little more lighthearted. It's about walking with lions. And we walked with lions at a place called Bortleerskop. So that's what I call this poem. Bortleerskop. I walked with 2 female lions at the reserve in Mossel Bay. Each of us carried a clubbed stick. We're told never to turn our backs towards the beasts. When the lions stopped to rest, the guide photographed us one by one with our own iPhones. The Xhosa tribesmen held my hand all the way up the rocks so I could perch behind the resting giants. The guide tapped the ground with a long stick to indicate the place where I should stand, far back, so his compatriots could land the perfect portrait. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jillian. It's so moving, and I could be in South Africa with you. I think some people are in the chat here saying thank you, Jillian, and saying that it was wonderful. Jillian, one thing that also made it very relatable when you go and look at all that South Africa had suffered with apartheid, and now we see this whole Black Lives Matter that is being happening here in the U.S. And I'm sure it had also resonated around the world and in other places that we're listening to. We're today connected to people in other countries. How was it for you to see all these people in the streets and having lived in a country that where Black people were suffered so much and were so segregated? How it was for you to see this months ago?
Well, when I was growing up as a child, whites were in the minority, so we just accepted that that's the way it was. But when I came to America and I saw Black people with us, but then it was the time of Martin Luther King and all the riots. In some ways it's similar, but in other ways it's very different. Because the Blacks in South Africa are living in shanty towns and very, very poor. But in this country, Blacks have a chance to live amongst us and to do better. Although today in South Africa, post-apartheid, there is a rising middle class of Black Africans who are doing very well. But the white farmers in South Africa are being massacred and slaughtered, and nobody in the world is paying attention because they're white. I've tried to bring some attention to this a little bit, and I haven't had much support.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Jillian. Thank you so much. Anybody has a question for the chat? Oh, we still have a few minutes here. A lot of people are saying beautiful, lovely reading, Jillian, very moving. So they're really, really beautiful. And again, I have to remind everybody, if you want to get Jillian's book and other books, some people are going to read from their own books. If you are here, but I don't know if there are some books in France, but the books that are here in the US, if you want to order, I would suggest you to order from our bookshop here, Bronx River Books. They can ship anywhere. And, we should really support our independent bookshops at this moment. So I really appreciate it. I don't know if they are around here in the Mark or Jessica. They're not here, right? No. Okay, no problem. So we'll I'll give the message. So now I think I'm going to go back. Thank you so much, Jillian. Big clap for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming again.
For the opportunity to read again.
It's good. We love your poems.
Thank you.